A very good afternoon to you and welcome to Citizen TV Briefs on this 5th day of December 2025. Let's get you informed on some of the stories making headlines across the country. My name is Jimmy Mbogo. The Kenya National Commission on Human Rights has called on President William Ruto and MPs to demonstrate goodwill and establish an enduring framework for the compensation of protest victims. KNCHR Chair Clarice Oganga said the commission is ready to spearhead the compensation process and has called on the executive and parliament to expedite the legal framework that would underpin the process to avoid further delays. The High Court in Kirinyaga had on Thursday found the compensation of the protest victim should not be at the discretion of the president and should be anchored in law, with the KNCHR as the constitutionally mandated body. Oganga spoke to Citizen TV at the launch of Frederick Norman Foundation for Freedom and the Chapter 4 Institute report on the state of human rights defenders. The policy paper calls for recognition and appreciation of the role human rights defenders play in defending democracy.
What we have been lacking is a clarity on the role of compensation. And we are happy that the court has clarified that particular clause and said that the commission has that mandate to compensate. But this requires collaboration with various institutions to ensure that we amend our act and we ensure that the regulations are put in place to comply with the court's orders.
So we cannot go back to where we came from. The journey has been so far and so long and very bloody and very tiresome. Going back is letting down all those people who died, all those people who suffered, who got jailed, who got injured. So 2 men and 1 woman, whether they are presidents or not, they are not going to damage this region as we watch.
So we hope that we are going to move together forward to ensure that we defend human rights, especially those people at the front line defending these rights, because one time you're in this regime, your rights are not being violated. Next time you are out, your rights are being violated. That is why the marking system actually should be defending the rights of everybody.
A coalition of Western embassies and the European Union delegation has raised an alarm over escalating violence in the aftermath of Tanzania's October election, which left several people dead, others injured, and property destroyed. In a joint statement, they urged Tanzanian authorities to exercise restraint and safeguard fundamental rights, including access to information and freedom of expression. The mission cited credible accounts from both domestic and international observers, pointing to extrajudicial killings and forced disappearances, arbitrary arrest, and the concealment of bodies. The statement, signed by multiple diplomatic missions based in Tanzania, comes just days after the United States warned that the East African nation risks damaging its relation with Washington over the ongoing political and human rights concerns. Now, Democratic Republic of Congo President Felix Tshisekedi and his Rwandan counterpart Paul Kagame have signed a historic peace deal in Washington, D.C., USA, in a bid to end the war that has been ongoing for decades in eastern DRC. The deal is set to lead to a permanent ceasefire, the disarmament of non-state forces, and provide for refugees to return to their homes and form a new economic framework for the region. The ceremony was hosted by U.S. President Donald Trump and witnessed by President William Ruto, who is the East Africa Community chairperson. The event, however, comes just days after an escalation in fighting in resource-rich eastern DRC between government forces and M23 rebels believed to be backed by Rwanda.
On the road ahead, there is no doubt about it. Rwanda, I know, will not be found wanting. I can assure you of that.
The Washington agreements are not yet another document. These represent a turning point. They bring together, under a coherent architecture, a declaration of principles.
They've spent a lot of time killing each other, and now they're going to spend a lot of time hugging, holding hands, and taking advantage of the United States of America economically like every other country does.
We will spare no effort to ensure this agreement is fully realized, mobilizing every resource and partner to secure peace and unlock the region's immense economic promise.
The United States Embassy in Nairobi, Kenya, defended the 5-year U.S.-Kenya Health Cooperation framework signed yesterday in Washington, D.C. President William Ruto witnessed the signing of a 208 billion shilling agreement, which has sparked mixed reactions online. The U.S. Embassy emphasized that the deal is not a loan, but a partnership aimed at supporting Kenya's priority health program. During this period, the government of Kenya has committed to increase domestic health spending by $850 million gradually, taking on greater financial responsibility as U.S. support decreases over the course of the framework.
We are just putting on paper the similar policies that we've followed for many, many years in this space. And so any data sharing going forward will be aggregated data. In other words, not personally identifiable data. And it'll be aggregate data so that we can collect information like the 1.3 million of people who are on antiretroviral treatment. So there's no individual identifying data.
Transition of healthcare workers is going to involve really sitting down with each county to identify the amount of healthcare workers we have, the ones that the county government is willing to take on, and again, hopefully the funding comes there through SHA to be able to pay for them, and work with them around how do we transform and change the cadres that we have that are very HIV or disease focused into one that's more holistic health.
The High Court has set strict evidentiary threshold for ejecting elected leaders from office over party hopping, ruling that defection must be proven through a formal and lawful resignation from the sponsoring party as requirement under the Political Parties Act. In a decision delivered by a 3-judge bench, the court dismissed a petition seeking the removal of Isiolo Governor Abdi Guyo and his deputy John Lowassa over claims that they had defected from the Jubilee Party to the United Democratic Alliance UDA party. The judges held that political migration, political alignment, or public association with another party does not amount to legal defection unless the strict resignation process under Section 10 and 11 of the Political Parties Act is followed and proven in court.
Section 2 of the Political Parties Act, party hopping without the involvement of the party as provided in Section 10 and 11 of the Political Parties Act. In our view, the petitioner made a barren claim that has not been substantiated. There is scanty information which in our view does not meet the evidential threshold for making a finding that the first and second respondent defected to UDA on the 2nd of June 2023. Without the evidence, we are unable to satisfy ourselves on the question of whether the conduct complained of constituted what is referred to as deemed resignation from a political party under Article 1 or this of Article 3 of the Constitution, as read with Section 14A of the Political Parties Act. We thus find the petition lacks merit and is hereby dismissed. We make no orders as to costs.
The High Court has underscored the primacy of multi-party democracy in Kenya and that it will and shall be protected by the courts of Kenya.
Nyamira County Assembly members who impeached Governor Amos Nyaribo are accusing the Senate of not giving justice to the Nyamira County electorate following its decision to terminate the impeachment proceedings of the embattled governor. Led by Majority Leader, they accused the senators of abandoning their oversight role. The MCAs have resolved to move to court to challenge the Senate's decision.
The senators spent much of the time debating on the PO, and finally they did not give us an opportunity to prosecute our case about the issues that are bedeviling Nyamira. For quite a long time we have seen issues that have led to stagnation of development in Nyamira.
What happened? That 1 hour break that my colleague leader of majority in the Senate asked for. What happened after that 1 hour? That the Senate decided to vote on the preliminary objection, and 3/4 of them who were supporting us crossed over and supported the preliminary objection.
Kenya Defence Forces, in partnership with the Kenya Institute of Special Education, KISE, has embraced the rehabilitation and retooling of officers who get injured in the line of duty, leading to disability. The rehabilitation is meant to help soldiers resume duty. In a message delivered on behalf of the Chief of Defence Forces, General Charles Kahariri, by Brigadier Hussein Amin during the KISE graduation, he affirmed that the era of dismissal from service due to injury and disability was no more, saying such soldiers could continue with their service in the military. During the event, 1,835 graduates were awarded diplomas and certificates, among them 6 soldiers with different special needs.
Of collaboration with the KISE, I think in today's graduation, you have seen that about six soldiers have been rehabilitated, they have been trained, and now they are capable of being deployed elsewhere, where they will fit effectively. As the Kenya Defence Forces, we take very seriously the welfare of all our personnel to ensure that even those who are injured or get some form of disability, there is that aspect of inclusivity. So what we have seen, what we have witnessed today is that resolve by the Kenya Defence Forces.
PAR, a Protect and Educate the Girl Child initiative by Tandem Digital, in partnership with Citizen TV, have launched a TV show that aims to tackle issues facing the girl child. The teen drama series urges parents and guardians to play a more active role in creating safe and supportive spaces for the girl child to learn, grow and thrive. The new series under the PAR initiative will now air on Citizen TV every Saturday at 6 p.m. and will spotlight the challenges and opportunities facing the modern girl child, demonstrate why strengthening parenting and guardianship remains central to effectively empowering the next generation.
Storytelling that is very different. It's a show that needs to be watched by both teenagers alongside parents to understand how the challenges that our young people are going through. You know, sometimes we look at things from one angle and you think you have the solutions, but what this show is bringing out is issues to do with safety for girls, safety for boys as well.
So in this season, one of the themes that I would really want the audience to take home is they should really speak more about pedophilia, sexual abuse, especially to minors.
PAR is a teen drama series that we've been running on Citizen since season 1. And for this season, we're covering a lot of themes that are influenced by what girls are telling us on the ground. PAR is cooking.
Touches a lot of different storylines, from something that every teenager can relate to, like bullying, peer pressure, you know, pressure to smoke, to a very heavy one that for us seems more like adult topics, but actually it's something that they go through all the time, right?